Hello, welcome to our second lesson where we are going to do a recap of what we discussed last time, and also what we've been discussing before the indefinite closure. Now, before we begin, I would like us to just go through certain important quotes of the day. The first one is from Heather Marsh, who said, "We are or will be going through the most radical transformation the world has ever seen. People are terrified, excited, depressed, heartbroken, and hopeful all at once." Marie Curie said, "Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less." Kiran said, "Ultimately, the greatest lesson that COVID-19 can teach humanity is that we are all in this together." Well, the last time I gave you an exercise, and of course, I believe that there are some of you that are tempted to write the exercise. So for now, I want us to simply show you what you were expected to do exactly. For those of you that got everything correct, thumbs up, well done, and keep on practicing so that you can be better at this. So these were the entries that you were required to make as you were preparing the balance sheet. Remember, in this question, the examiners had already indicated that the net profit was already calculated for you, meaning the profit and loss account was already calculated for you. So they just gave you the net profit, and they expected you to prepare the balance sheet. So this is how you were supposed to write it. The title was supposed to be M. Silumbu's balance sheet for the year ending 31st December 2018, of which the details, first things that you're supposed to do is to indicate the fixed assets, of which you have the furniture, office equipment, fixtures and fittings, machinery. So when you add these, they give you 62,200 kwacha. Then after the fixed assets, you bring the current assets, where you be given you have to enter the stock, the debtors, and the cash in hand. You add these, and then they will give you 14,238 kwacha. So the next thing is you find the current liabilities, and as we discussed, for you to find the current liabilities, you simply have to enter what you have been given. Okay, you check on your entry list, and you realize that you have the creditors, you have bank overdraft. These are the current liabilities that you have been given on your entry list. So once you enter these, you add them. And when you add them, they give you 8,350 kwacha. Then the next thing is to find the working capital. Like we have always been discussing, for you to find the working capital, you simply have to subtract the total for current liabilities from the total for current assets, of which in this case, you subtract 8,350 kwacha from 14,238 kwacha, which gives you 5,888 kwacha. So your 5,888 kwacha is the working capital. Then we move to the net assets. For you to find the net assets, you simply have to add the working capital to the total for fixed assets, which is 62,200 kwacha. Then you go to the financed by section where you enter the capital, and our capital in this case is 65,900 kwacha. So you also enter the net profit, which is 11,988 kwacha. Then we don't have, in this question, we don't have the long-term liabilities. So we are not going to add long-term liabilities here. So you simply add the net profit and the capital. They give you 77,880 kwacha. Then you need to find the capital employed. So for you to find the capital employed, you simply subtract the drawings from the total that you had found when you added the net profit and the capital, which gives you 68,088 kwacha, which is the same as the net assets. So you can see that your balance sheet is well prepared. So if you got this correct, then you are okay. Now, our topic recap. We began this topic by looking at the following, which is the trading account, profit and loss account, the balance sheet. Remember that the trading account and the profit and loss account are collectively called income statement. This is because these are prepared to determine the profit earned or loss sustained by the business enterprise and during the accounting period. Remember also that the balance sheet is also called the financial statement. This is because it reports a company's assets, liabilities, shareholders' equity at a specific point in time and provides a basis for computing rates of return and evaluating its capital structure. So, in a nutshell, here we are saying that the trading account and the profit and loss account are collectively called income statements. Then the balance sheet is a financial statement. So the balance sheet is not an account, but it is a financial statement, while the trading account and profit and loss account are actually accounts. So let's look at the trading account. The purpose of the trading account is to simply help us to find the gross profit or loss of the business. So whenever you are preparing the trading account, the purpose is to find the gross profit or loss of the business in a given financial year. Now, you know that gross profit is money that is earned by the business before any deductions are made. However, in order for you to effectively prepare the trading account, the following items must be taken into account. That is the sales return or return inwards, purchases return or returns outwards, carriage inwards. Then we have the import or customs duty, opening stock, closing stock, warehouse expenses, wages. Now, these are the only items which must be entered in the trading account, and the procedure must be as follows. Begin by entering the sales made in the financial year. Then enter the sales return inwards if given on your list. Find the net sales. This is achieved by subtracting the return inwards from sales. Enter the purchases made during the financial year. Add any of the following if given. So you add any of the following to the purchases made if you have been given in that question. The carriage inwards, import or customs duty. We know for sure to say there are those people that run businesses that are in charge of importing goods from outside the country. So whenever they are crossing the border, bring their goods here in Zambia, they have to pay some kind of import or customs duty. Carriage inwards, we discussed this in class, where you are charged as you are maybe provided transportation by your supplier, so you are charged. So add this money that you have been charged to the money for purchases. So carriage inwards and import or customs duty must always be added to the purchases. Then once you have done that, subtract the purchases return from the total of purchases and carriage inwards or customs duty. This will help you to find the net purchases. Then enter the opening stock. Find the total stock available by adding the opening stock to the net purchases. Then the next step that you need to take is to enter the closing stock and subtract it from the total stock available in order to find the cost of goods sold. 10. Add any of the following to the cost of goods sold if you are given. So, for example, if you are given warehouse expenses and you have been given also wages, please add these to the cost of goods sold in the trading account. However, I must emphasize here that do not add wages and salaries to the trading account under the cost of goods sold. Instead, these are taken to the profit and loss account. It is only wages and warehouse expenses which must be added to the cost of goods sold. Then the last thing, find the gross profit or loss by subtracting the cost of goods sold or the total for cost of goods sold and warehouse expenses and wages from the net sales. Now, if you are able to follow the above guidelines, then you are good to go. Then you will not have challenges when it comes to preparing the trading account. Let's look at the profit and loss account. You understand that the purpose of preparing the profit and loss account is to help us to find the net profit or loss of the business. The net profit is money earned by the business after deductions. The following items must be considered when preparing the profit and loss account. Gross profit. Usually in the examination, you are only supposed to work out the trading account and the profit and loss account under one table. So in this case, you don't need to struggle to bring the gross profit. All you need to do is to make a continuation. Since you already have the gross profit, which is the last item that you have worked out in the trading account, the next thing is to add any incomes that the business received, if at all in that particular question there are incomes to be added. So incomes received by the business, such as discount received, rent received, commission received, must be added to the gross profit. So in the first place, add them together, find the total, and then add this total to the gross profit. And the secret for you to knowing which is the income that has been received by the business is that, as we have been discussing always in class, anything that has got the surname received is definitely an income. Then the next thing, you bring all the expenses. You need to understand that all expenses of the business, such as rent, discount allowed, motor vehicle expenses, lighting and heating, stationery, wages and salaries, rates, commission allowed, all those must be grouped together in the profit and loss account, added together, then the total should be subtracted from the total for gross profit and income to help you find the net profit or loss. So what then is the procedure? Procedure number one, enter the gross profit, but you don't need to enter in the examination because you are using one table. So after you have found your gross profit, just add the income. Enter all the incomes received and add them. Add the total of all incomes to the gross profit. Enter all the expenses and add them. Subtract the total of all the expenses from the total of gross profit plus income. This will help you to find the net profit or loss. Record the net profit or loss. Let's look at the balance sheet. The balance sheet is a financial statement that reports a company's assets, liabilities, and shareholders' equity at a specific point in time, and provides a basis for computing rates of return and evaluating its capital structure. It is a financial statement that provides a snapshot of what a company owns and owes, as well as the amount invested by shareholders. Now, we have been looking at the balance sheet, and our recent discussion was on a balance sheet. So I will not spend further time here to discuss the balance sheet with you, but rather just remind you that the balance sheet is another most important aspect to consider when you are preparing final accounts. I'll give you an example. Let's look at this example, ECZ paper 2015. The following balances were taken from the books of Chiwenkandu as at 30th June 2015. Can you guess what the title of this task will be? For example, what would be the title of the trading account and profit and loss account? And what would be the title of the balance sheet? Then look at the entries that you have been given and how would you put them? Before you do anything, you need to mark each of these where they are supposed to go. Stock. Here we are given two stocks, opening stock and closing stock. Where are they needed? Well, these are needed in the trading account and also in the balance sheet. However, in the balance sheet, it is only the closing stock which is needed. Motor vehicles go to the balance sheet under fixed assets. Debtors go to the balance sheet under current assets. Insurance goes to the profit and loss account under expenses. Sundry expenses, these go to the profit and loss account under expenses. Sales, these go to the trading account. Purchases, these go to the trading account. Furniture, these go to the balance sheet under fixed assets. Stationery, this goes to the profit and loss account under expenses. Rates, profit and loss account under expenses. Cash at bank, current assets in the balance sheet. Cash in hand, current assets in the balance sheet. Returns inwards, trading account. Returns outwards, trading account. Creditors, current liabilities in the balance sheet. Carriage outwards, profit and loss account under expenses. Carriage inwards, trading account under purchases. Drawings, balance sheet under the financed by section. Capital, balance sheet under the financed by section. So you can see that each of what you have been given here has a place to go. So this should be the first thing that you should do. Mark each of the entry and see which of the three do they go to. Do they go to the trading account? Do they go to the profit and loss account? Do they go to the balance sheet? But remember that the stock, closing stock, goes both in the trading account and the balance sheet. So this table simply demonstrates to you how we prepare, it simply shows how we prepare the trading and profit and loss account. So we start with the trading and profit and loss account for the year ending 30th June 2015 for Chiwenkandu. So our title will be Chiwenkandu's trading and profit and loss account for the year ending 30th June 2015. So we start with the sales, return inwards, then the net sales. Then purchases, we add carriage inwards there to the purchases to give us that figure of which we bring the return outwards, then we find the net purchases. Opening stock, we bring it there. Now to find the total stock available, we simply add the opening stock to the net purchases, which gives us 10,195 kwacha. Then we bring the closing stock in order for us to find the cost of goods sold, of which we subtract 1,110 kwacha, which is the closing stock, from the total stock available to give us the cost of goods sold, which is 9,085 kwacha. Then our gross profit. For us to find our gross profit, we simply subtract the cost of goods sold from the total for net sales. which is 15,767 kwacha. We move to the expenses because in that question they did not give us incomes. So straight away we are looking at the profit and loss account here. So under expenses we have carriage outwards, which is 215, stationery 250, insurance 2,500, sundry expenses 1,100, rates 180. When you add these, they give us 4,245 kwacha. For us to find the net profit, we simply subtract the expenses from the gross profit, which is giving us 11,522 kwacha. That is our net profit. Then we come to the balance sheet, where we are saying Chigwe Nkandu's balance sheet for the year ending 30th June 2015. The fixed assets is the first thing that we enter, where we have motor vehicles 4,500, furniture 3,790 kwacha. We add the two to give us 8,290 kwacha. Then we look for the current assets, where we have the closing stock, as I've explained, which is 1,110 kwacha, debtors 3,500, cash at bank 950 kwacha, cash in hand 1,095 kwacha. This gives us 6,655 kwacha as the total. Then we come to the current liabilities. Under current liabilities, we have creditors 1,600 kwacha. We don't have bank overdraft. So the next thing that we do is we find the working capital. To find the working capital, we simply have to subtract the total for current liabilities from the total for current assets. So we simply have to subtract 1,600 kwacha from 6,655 kwacha, which gives us our working capital, which is 5,055 kwacha. Then we look for the net assets. We find the net assets. To find the net assets, you simply have to add the working capital to the total for fixed assets. You add 5,055 kwacha to 8,290 kwacha, which gives you 13,345 kwacha. Then under the financed by, you have the capital. The capital, which is 3,658 kwacha. Net profit, which is 11,522 kwacha. You add the capital and the net profit, then they'll give you 15,180 kwacha. Remember, in this question, we do not have the long-term liabilities such as a bank loan from somewhere or a mortgage. We don't have. So, we need now to find the capital employed. For us to find the capital employed, we simply have to remove the drawings from the total that we found when we added capital and the net profit, which gives us 13,345 kwacha, which is the same as the net assets. In this way, your balance sheet has been well prepared. This marks the end of our lesson. So the next time that we're going to meet, we are going to look at a new topic. Now that we have finished a recap of our trading account, profit and loss account, and the balance sheet. Please, I'll send the class exercise that I expect you to do via the WhatsApp groups. Send me a Microsoft Word document of how you have worked your answer via WhatsApp. Then I'll be able to give you feedback. Keep on practicing, because this is the only way you can manage to pass this task. Final accounts is an easy task. Questions under final accounts are not difficult. You just need to practice more often. Look for more post papers. Attempt as many questions as possible. Then you will be able to pass this part of the exam. I'll end my lesson with a life quote from Walt Disney. All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. I wish you a pleasant week. Safeguard yourselves. Be good, be happy. Thank you.